Hi everyone, good morning from my end to you. So, a few weeks ago, I posted a video about unattached public servants, and to my surprise, there were a lot of positive and negative comments as well. But a lot of individuals were able to share their experiences, and me as an individual, I learned so much from just reviewing the comments. I do understand that the approach that I took to post the video was not the best at the time, so I do apologize to anyone who have been offended by this video that I posted. So I apologize for that, and I have put together a video that furthermore explains public servants, unattached public servants, but in from all the comments and questions that I have gotten from the comments to the video that I previously posted, I put together to come up with this. There were also a lot of individuals that messaged me and advised me on how I should go about creating videos to put out on my social media accounts, and I really appreciate that. They've been giving me very, very constructive criticism, and I take all of that in, and I hope to improve in the next video or so. But without further delay, let's just go into what I prepared for this video. So the first thing that we need to understand is what are unattached public servants, and what are their roles, or what have made them become unattached in the public service. So unattached public servants, according to the National Newspaper 2025, is referring to a person who is not currently assigned to a specific position within a state agency. And this is usually because they're not formally attached to any specific role or function. So they're not really out of the public service, they are there, but they're not attached to a specific role or function. And I got this definition from the National. Okay, there are a few reasons to why they are unattached. Number one is retirement, and which is one that we've all mentioned in the comment section for the first video. So some public servants may have retired from their duties but have not received their entitlements and their benefits or their payments, hence why they're still attached to the public service without any specific role or function. Now to the second one is department restructure. So some state departments go through a restructure, and as a result some positions are abolished, some become redundant, and this makes some officers lose their functions, so they do not have a specific function that they perform within the state department, and that's why they become unattached. Like they're still on the payroll, but they're not performing a specific task within the state agency. And the third one that most of you have mentioned is the contracts, individuals that are working for the state on a contractual basis. And this one, I'm not very sure about that. Maybe someone can educate us on that in a comment section. What I understand is a lot of contracts or a lot of individuals that work on contractual basis usually operate within a time frame. So once their contract ends, that's usually when their payments cease. So I'm not so sure about this, but like I mentioned, someone can educate us on that in the comment section. So there is something called the PNG Public Service General Order, which is a document that outlines a set of rules and regulations that govern the terms, conditions, and basically administration of public servants. So it is basically a guideline or a rule book on how public servants are employed, how they're managed, how their retirement benefit works, all of this. It's all in the general orders, in the PNG Public Service General Orders. So according to this general order, the retired officers are the responsibility of the state department heads. So the department under which they are working are responsible for their retirement benefits or whatever. And I think, in my personal opinion, I think that the department do pay the retired officers, but they do not do so for everyone at the same time because of the limited allocation of funding. So there's no one-off payment. So a lot of the individuals that left, they still hang around to wait for the rest of their payments, and that's a personal opinion. Also, according to this general order, positions that have become abolished or vacant or they've become redundant, um, they the individuals just wait around until they're given a more permanent position. And in my opinion, again, this is because of how slow the process is in our country. When there's a restructure, it takes a really, really long time for that restructure to be completed, and then individuals are put into permanent positions. So I really think it's the structure of our system in the country and not the individuals. So with the economic struggles that we have as a country, and the continuous long processes of restructure, I believe that the government cannot settle everyone at the same time, and this is an issue for unattached individuals, because obviously they need their benefits, and they need to have a permanent role and maybe feel like they're contributing as well to society through the government as well. So I have come up with a few possible ways just out of the top of my head, and I would really like people to also contribute their thoughts and their opinions in the chat, in the comments. So number one is, okay, so I'm thinking of the staff that do not have a permanent role, the ones that are left unattached. They could be moved to other state departments where there is a shortage of staff, so that they can work while earning. That's the number one idea that I came about. For unattached public servants in a different department, if they are unattached, they could be moved to another department that has a shortage of staff. Number two is to invest in capacity building for staff, and I think this one is quite important. So, if other positions are left redundant and they sort of need or require higher qualifications or more experience, it'll be good to upskill the individuals, send them out for training or short-term studies to come back and effectively contribute back to the State Department. Number three is a very, I think, a common one. Everyone would think about this one, is to maybe try to ensure that the retirement age policy is effectively implemented, so that those that reach that age of 65, I believe, are given their benefits, and they're left to be with their families or do whatever they wish to do, so that in that way we do not have employment benefits, or we don't have retirement benefits sort of accumulating over the years, so it becomes too expensive or too much for the government to give a one-off payment. And finally, is for those that have served for a really long time, and I know that some individuals give their life for service to the country. And for this one, I think within the capacity of the government, if they're not able to give them their money, if it's in monetary basis, then they could probably give them a piece of land to build their homes, you know, just a piece of land, because land is quite expensive in the country. So they could just give them a piece of land. We have a lot of land, the state has a lot of land. Maybe give them a piece of land and help them, or just give them a piece of land, and that could be like half of their benefits, and then they work around the other half to give them. Or use any government unutilized resources. If there is a vehicle probably that the government is not using, then they can give to these individuals so that it can cut down the cost that the government has to give to them as part of their benefits. And I think this one is mostly for those that are retired officers. I hope that makes sense. I hope that answered some of your questions, and I hope that you can also share your thoughts in the chat.